Hello. Good morning. It is so dark outside still. I'm not used to this. I feel like I'm waking up in the middle of the night and I'm just more sleepy. My hands are so cold. So if you're new here, remember that this session, like all these sessions, are for you, not for me. Joining is to benefit you because reading or studying a little bit every day has just a ton of benefits. So just keep that in mind. Good morning, Anshdeep. I saw that you added me on LinkedIn. I didn't check it since I sent that last message last night. But I'm just checking the views on the last video because it's doing pretty well. Very many people are interested in why I'm no longer doing engineering, so makes sense. Okay, well, let's just get started today then. So yeah, I'll see you in 20 minutes. Bye.
Yay, good job. 20 minutes is up. And I am sniffling so much. I need to get some warm water. I did not have enough time before I woke up today to get something, mostly because I'm just so tired. Before I could, bring myself up, and also I'm like standing because I'm on a counter. So every morning I'm standing reading, just by the way. Okay, let me see the chat. Anjdeep says, the video you're talking about is to get into an Ivy League ASAP. Oh, you mean your dream school ASAP? I think I never had like a title Ivy League one, but oh yeah, to push. Oh, I see. To what's it called? That section's like to push your limits or something. Yeah. So basically, like our time is limited, right? Our abilities are also limited. So my point is that basically before you go into high school, you already have a limit because of your foundation that you've been given in middle school. So it's like two people, right? One had a better foundation in math, did like math competitions and tutoring and stuff like that, for example, in middle school, and the other person didn't. So that first person's limit in high school, as I described in that video, would probably be, maybe Calc BC freshman year, okay? The other person, no matter how much time they put in, like they both put in 20 extra hours, let's just say like per week, studying to try and get into a higher math course, right? So the first person, by putting in 20 hours, can get into Calc BC. But then the second person, because they didn't have that tutoring and foundational experience in middle school, then they put in 20 hours and they can get into pre-calc, But both of them are pushing their own limits. And you just need to find your own limit, and that will help you get into your dream school. So that's what I mean. I do not have a cold, hopefully. But yeah, so that's what I mean by limits, by pushing them. And yeah, hopefully that helps. But basically, it just means that you want to put in the extra time, like use your time wisely, okay? Like you still have time for like fun and like, hang out with your siblings, friends, family, whatever. But there's a ton of free time out there where people are just spending, on like binging Netflix and going on their phone. And so the point is to like use that time wisely and push your limits where other kids are not pushing their limits because they also have a lot of free time that they're not using. And so, then automatically you get a leg up and advantage in college admissions. So you're more likely then to get into your dream school. Yes, every person has different limits, exactly. And a lot can be circumstantial, as I mentioned 2 live streams ago, because your family could have, like when you're 5, you don't know, like, oh, I should start studying math early. Like you should enjoy life when you're 5 years old, right? But what I mean is, like, for example, my parents, they made me memorize my multiplication tables when I was like, I don't know, like 4, 5. When's a normal-ish time, but still very early. And basically, like, I would recite it to them. I would recite it to my mom. I remember, like, when I was in the shower, when she was in the shower. And, so that's different. Like, that you can't control. And therefore, by being in a different environment and different family background and other circumstances, then, yeah, some limits are circumstantial. And, you just can't do anything about that because those are, like, predispositions we have at a young age.
So yeah, that is my take. Also, today I read something interesting. Surprise, surprise. And well, it's like I already knew this, but the way he writes it is just so good. And it's about like how we just don't value time enough. So, like, basically, there's a time value of money, right? You guys know some econ. So, stuff depreciates, like $100 worth, $100 today is worth more than $150 in 10 years, okay? And so, why don't we think about the same thing with time? Our time right now, because we're younger, is technically worth more, but we don't choose to act that way. Like our behaviors don't reflect that knowledge. And maybe we don't have that knowledge and awareness, which is scary and not good because, of course, time isn't something you can get back. You can always get more money, but you can't get more time, right? And so, oh man, I wish more people knew that. And like, honestly, we can all do better. Like I still spend some time like in the middle, like distracted and stuff. But it's to how to like maximize the time that we do have, like all of us, because we all have the same amount of time. Like when we are born, we have the same amount of time. And some people we choose to use it differently. And I think just like what I said in the beginning of of this chat, that's what differentiates each other is how we use that time because everyone has 24 hours in a day. Someone spends it studying, someone can spend it on Netflix, and then automatically the person who spends it on more productive things or like stuff beneficial to you, like reading beneficial to you, the person that spends it on those things, will just automatically, quote unquote, naturally, be set up better for the future and that their time is better spent because, I mean, I say about using time wisely and enjoying the time we have, right? But that doesn't mean like the balance between, my example, Netflix and studying is that Netflix is not really enjoying your time unless you're taking it like to relax and like bond with family or friends, because my perspective is that like when you're binging Netflix, you're just living in someone else's world. And sure, that might be like interesting, but that kind of means like that world is more interesting than, you living your current life and being with friends and family. Like there's a balance, of course, like, watch Netflix on your own, whatever, but that's just my perspective. And that in the end, think about it. You are going to remember fun moments with your friends and family, but you're probably not going to remember the plot line of a single show you watched like 2 years ago, So yeah, just think of it that way. And because I'm so passionate about the subject, I actually, when I was taking notes, I wrote this whole page, and this is basically a video idea that, it's going to be a little preachy, just kind of like the live stream today. But I hope it'll be helpful, more helpful than, those videos like, 23 things successful people do. When people watch them, like, do you think they actually go and through the list and be like, oh, yes, I'm going to do this every day? Like, I'm being a little cynical today, but that's just the truth. Let me see the chat. Mathematical tables. Yeah. No, don't think of it as suffering. In the past, as kids, we would think of extra work we had to do as suffering, that our parents would make us do these. But now I'm just so thankful that they made me do those things. And it's like, yeah, it's just like, you don't know, like we don't have that life experience to really say at that point of our lives, especially, that they're not doing the right thing, because they're always doing like what they think is best for us. And, they probably wish that, my kids, or I wish that I was taught multiplication tables when I was younger. Or they thought, I did get taught multiplication tables when I was younger, and that benefited me so much, and now have a better foundation. So I'm going to do that to my kid. So, Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Asian parents are a little bit too strict sometimes. I have to admit that, but yes, indeed, they do make us better. Yes, Anshdeep, you speak the truth. Okay, I'm really cold, so I'm going to get some warm water now. Great conversation. I think this can be labeled as a gold section. If you didn't know, so 2 live streams ago, I labeled that session a gold session, meaning that like, it was like especially good conversation, got me, I don't know, fired up. And like I said, some things I think will be valuable to people, so I'm putting that in the title. Yes, exactly. Asians are smarter on average, I think. Probably not because of our genetics, but because of the hard work, So it's just kind of an interesting stereotype. But yeah, I mean, kids in China study so much, and I'm sure in India too. So yeah, no offense. There are a lot of smart non-Asian people, of course, but just on average, I think everyone knows that stereotype. So, okay, well, have an amazing day, and I'm going to get myself some warm water. Bye, see you tomorrow.